Welcome to this episode of the Brush and Soap and Blade Podcast, where we look forward to shaving every day. Welcome to episode 137 of the podcast. My name is Rick DeWeese, but I'll be your host this week. Okay, we're going to start off with a shave of the day from Friday. I found a blog article on razor rotations that I thought was really, really good. It is in the blog How to Shave Like a Granddad, and it's by Doug. And Doug did a great job on this one. We'll talk about it. Then we've got Saturday's Shave of the Day. I got a mail call from Maggards, and tell you just a little bit about that. And additionally, since we're on the subject of Maggards, Mantic over at Sharpologist was up at the meetup up at Maggards not too long ago. Did an interview with Brad Maggard, and link to that one so that you can give it a look. Ran into a guy that was talking about, well, using something on a brush to make it work better. I don't agree with him. I'm not going to slam him because, I mean, he's doing the best he can, but it's not something that I would do. We'll talk about that as well. Okay, Monday's Shave of the Day. One thing when you're going through life, and I've run into this a little bit, and it takes various forms and shapes and sizes and everything. If you get an opportunity, look around and see if you can identify people that are sacrificing the goal for the sake of the process. Are they so involved in checking the box that they forgot that they're supposed to be doing something completely different? Okay, Tuesday's Shave of the Day. During this whole week, I've got two segments here. I've been using a soap that, well, not the whole week, but a good chunk of the week. I have been using, or at least the last couple of days, let's put it that way. I'm trying to get my my dates in my head straight. Anyhow, I use some Old Spice shaving cream in a tube. And I got it from Maggard's Razors, and turns out that this is the Procter & Gamble formula. But lo and behold, I also have some of the original Shulton formula that's made in India, and well, we'll talk about it because this stuff it can be a little bit confusing, but there are some distinct differences between the two of them. And as tonight, while I was putting this podcast together, I actually sat here with 2 tubes of each, and well, gave you my impressions while I was playing around with them, lathering them, etc. And there is a distinct difference. We'll talk about it. Anyhow, that's the show this week. First off, thanks for being there, and hopefully you enjoy this as much as I enjoyed making it. So let's get on with this thing. All right. Well, today was a day of double-edged goodness. So today I went back to an old, tried and true favorite. Happened to be the Gillette bar handle new, the short comb version. I don't have a long comb version. I need to get one, but it is the short comb version. And shaved in the shower, 3 passes in the shower with just a bit of touch up, and yeah, back to a very wonderful, wonderful shave. Used some Cat A scentless. Things are slowing down. I don't know what it is. Well, I do know what it is. Things are slowing down for me on the podcast here. I'm not having as many thoughts and ideas this week, mainly because I'm just busy as all get out at work. I'm running constantly. I'm always in a hurry. It's just, yeah, sometimes life gets in the way, doggone it. So it's one of those things that, just does happen. Luckily, I walk out and face it each day with a good shave. And, we go out there and we make the best that we can of it, of each and every day, because, you're not guaranteed many of them. In fact, you're not guaranteed any. And so every day I get a chance to walk out the front door, yeah, I'm going to walk out the front door looking pretty good, and or at least as best as I can. How about that? And feeling good and with a good attitude in my back pocket and ready to go and do my best. So, yeah, if things get a little shy or a little short this weekend, well, this week, that's why. It is rather it's encouraging at one point that I can realize it, and it's discouraging at the same point that it's actually happening. I don't even have time to really look around and collect my thoughts and gather up a decent soap or a decent razor to play with in a week. I'm just kind of bouncing around this week with whatever comes to hand and whatever strikes my fancy, which on one hand is a good thing, but on another hand it's a little bit more uncoordinated, I guess, than what I enjoy. So, oh well, it is what it is, but that's the way it goes sometimes. So I found an interesting article on the Shave Like Granddad blog spot. Shave Like Granddad blog. And the article was Razor Rotation, a bad idea for some. Okay, so in reading the article, and just to give you a few highlights, I guess, one of the things, with a given blade, there are several razors in one's possession that will provide an optimally close shave. This is true. I can take most of my razors, and by altering my shave process to work best with each one, I can get an extremely close shave. Okay. Next one. With a given blade, there are several razors in one's possession that will provide a comfortable, wound-free shave. This is also true. Generally speaking, with any given blade that I have used, I can get a comfortable shave with many of the razors in my humble assortment. However, it is equally true that with many of these instruments, I have to limit my shave to a single with-grain pass. Okay? However, and this is a big however, generally speaking, for a given blade, there is only a single razor that affords the best combination of closeness and wound-free comfort. Okay, now, this is a person that has sensitive skin. Okay, so I get that. My skin is not overly sensitive. I can get away with quite a bit, so I don't have quite the same problems. But the other thing that he's talking about is rotation of razors on a daily basis. Okay, that to me is a bit much. Now, just so you know, I typically do not rotate my razors on a daily basis. I will choose a razor and a blade combination and use it for a week. And that gives me an opportunity to, well, get used to it, get used to the angles, get used to the peculiarities, if you will, of that particular combination, because they all are just a bit different. A Gillette Silver Blue in a slant razor will not perform the same as a feather in the same slant or a Kai in the same slant. And if you start going from the slant razor with a Kai to a Valet auto strop with, a feather blade in it or something like that. I mean, things get changed up so fast and so rapidly that you just can't mentally adjust. And there is a period of adjustment that is required in order to, well, enjoy things without tearing yourself up. So if you happen to be rotating razors on a daily basis, well, okay, fine. My hat's off to you. If you're using the same blade and rotating razors, okay, maybe. If you're rotating both blades and razors on a daily basis, holy cow, you have some pretty tough skin. Anyhow, I will link to this article. It's a good article, especially if you, it's got some good tips and pointers, especially if you have sensitive skin. Again, I don't, so it's hard for me to relate to some of the issues that sensitive skin folks have. The only sensitivity that I know that I have is to sandalwood. the sandalwood fragrance, which is a shame because I love that stuff, but it does sensitize me a lot. But anyhow, like I said, I ran across this article, and it really was a good one. I will link to that blog, and you too can enjoy it just as much as I did. Sunday's shave of the day. Okay, so Sunday's shave of the day, I went ahead and lathered up the Old Spice Musk cream, the tube that I picked up from Maggards. About $5, I think it was, for a tube. Well worth the price. Yeah, put about an almond size dollop in the bottom of ye old salsa bowl. Slightly modified, has a little bit more texture on the inside, thanks to some 80 grit sandpaper. And somebody once asked me, said, how do you do that? Well, you take a piece of 80 grit sandpaper and you just rough up the inside of the thing. That's about it. It's really not anything more spectacular than that. But what it does do is it does provide a little bit better lather. It gives something for the brush to catch on a bit, gives something for the soap to catch on a bit, and just generally gives things a little bit more texture. Now, the thing that's interesting is that over time, that roughening up has, calmed down a bit. It's almost to the point where instead of a sandpaper rough finish, it's kind of like a matte finish. Almost like somebody lightly sandblasted it or something. All the rough edges are like gone, worn down and stuff, so but it still does a really, really nice job, and I do really enjoy it. I have thought of other ways of, increasing the texture inside a salsa bowl, and who knows, maybe one day I'll think about it and actually figure something out. But in the meantime, what I've got works well. So, working well is exactly what happened. Samag Owners Club brush and a little bit of Old Spice Musk cream. And, I've got more lather than I could use in 2 days worth of shaving easily. And luxurious thick lather and, just really, really nice stuff. Now, granted, it's name brand, it's a big pharmaceutical, chemical, product company, I suppose, that's making this stuff anymore. God knows what's in it. But the thing is that it performs so well. It really does. And so I kind of overlook some things and just, continue on down the road with a smile on my face. Now, Sunday's shave of the day, I went ahead and used one of my straight razors. And in fact, I used the old straight razor that I attempted to put some scales on and did a miserable job at it. But it's a semi wedge, and it just kind of slices through things without even thinking about it, just due to the weight. They say no pressure with a straight razor. Well, that big old thing, you don't need any pressure. All you got to do is attempt to hold it back, because the weight of the thing just absolutely takes care of any business whatsoever. It's just, at least on the first pass, when you're going straight down, it really does a number. And so good shave. Took a little bit extra time, did a few more passes. I mean, heck, I had the lather, right? And it wasn't bothering me. I didn't have any excess irritation or anything like that. And so away we go. And all in all, a pretty good shave. Was fairly happy with it. And started out, and it turned out to be an absolutely beautiful day. Started out a beautiful day, so how can you go wrong? Okay, well, got a good package from Maggards the other day. It's one thing I've noticed about Maggards is their shipping is always very, very quick. And so I got a mail call from Maggards. So what did I get? Well, I got a couple of soaps, and those will be soaps that I'd talk about in the coming podcasts. I also got a couple of aftershaves, fine aftershaves that I'd been wanting to get some more of, American Blend, and also L'Orange Noir, black orange. Yeah, good stuff. And so I got those, and got some soaps. And one of the soaps that I got, one of the soap types, is I loaded back up on some tubes of Old Spice, the original Shulton's formula Old Spice cream soap. Excuse me. And I got them in all three flavors: original scent, musk, and lime. Now, I've been using the musk the last couple of days, and yeah, it has a musk scent, but it's very, very mild and very, very light. So it'll be interesting to see if I get down further into the tube how that works out. The other thing that I noticed, and it may just be me, but the soap coming out of the tube and, lathering up with the brush, first off, it's a lather monster. Holy cow. Very, very easy to lather. So, very similar to a lot of creams, especially that come out of the tube. Very easy to lather. But the thing that I've noticed on this is that it just seems to be a thicker consistency than what I remember. Now, it'll be interesting because I still have the my old tube of original lying about, and I may do that just one of the, maybe tomorrow. But I would like to just kind of play with it and see. Okay, is it the same consistency as the original, Old Spice formula? It's just the musk stuff that's a little bit, denser, if you will. Or is it just my imagination, and it's always been that way, and I'm just not remembering correctly? It could be. I'm getting old. Speaking of getting old, holy cow, I don't know what's going on with my knee, but right above my knee, I don't know if I strained a muscle or what the heck, but my right knee, right above it, it doesn't hurt to walk. But it annoys me going upstairs and coming downstairs, and it really bothers me if I squat down to pick something up. So I'm going to have to stop doing that for a while because apparently I've strained a muscle or done something to my knee. And, it's, getting old is not for the weak. Boy, I'll tell you what. However, the good news is that I can still stand in front of a mirror and give myself an absolutely excellent shave. And now that I got some new soaps to play with and all, well, I can do more of that. Good stuff. Speaking of a mail call from Maggards, Mantic59, that Sharpologist, happened to put out an interview that he did with Brad Maggard during the recent meetup that occurred up there. And so I thought I'd go ahead and link to that because you get to find out a little bit about the man behind Maggard's Razors and how he got started and how big it is. And, does he get a lot of walk-in customers or does he get most of his business online? So real good interview. I liked it a lot. I enjoyed watching it. So I'll link to it. You can give it a look-see as well. Again, good stuff. I also ran across an article that was interesting, and he's got it listed as an old brush trick. It says, one of the things that annoys me to no end is a brush that will not release its lather in water during a shave, and here lately, my Omega 149 professional bore brush has started to not release as much during a shave, and I know why. It's not been that long since I cleaned my brush, and usually when I do, this starts to happen soon afterwards. So there's a little trick you can do to solve that problem, and if it's a new brush, it also helps break it in and get the stink out as well. Basically, what you do is take 2 tablespoons of your favorite fabric softener, add it to your shave mug, and use it to soak your brush in some hot water and let it soak for about 2 hours. If it's a new brush, so you suggest soaking it overnight. Then after soaking your brush, shake all the water out and paintbrush it across a clean, dry towel. After all this, your brush should feel extremely soft and splay very nicely and should release the lather and water much easier. This also works with synthetic brushes as well, but in my humble opinion, it's really not needed for most synthetics. Okay, so, all right, if you really want to, yeah, you can. However, keep in mind, uh, let's go to Wikipedia just for a minute. The mechanisms of actions for a fabric softener. Fabric softeners coat the surface of a fabric with chemical compounds that are electrically charged, causing threads to stand up from the surface, thereby causing the fabric to feel softer. Cationic softeners bind by electrostatic attraction to the negatively charged groups on the surface of the fibers and neutralize their charge. And long aliphatic chains are then oriented towards the outside of the fiber, imparting lubricity. So essentially what you're doing is you are coating the fibers of your brush with essentially chemical compounds that are that don't like to absorb water, that have a tendency to well, what you're feeling, in other words, is not the brush itself, but whatever chemical coating you put on it. And that's why it then releases, because this coating that you now have on it with the fabric softener literally doesn't like water. It's hydrophobic. It likes to not absorb water at all, which means that if you then do this to your brush and then try to soak your brush may not absorb as much water because it's hydrophobic, which means you may be breaking your brush apart faster over time, because it's not softening and swelling. In fact, it's not absorbing much water at all. It's a possibility anyhow. Personally, and this is a personal opinion, again, if you want to do this, okay, go for it. Personally, I would not do this to a brush. I'm a firm believer that a brush is a natural substance, and I don't use conditioners on my own hair. I wouldn't put them on a brush. I just, part of this for me, part of wet shaving for me is to get away from the chemicals and things like that and to reduce their influence on my life. And putting them back into the brush that I use on a daily basis, yeah, not really the way I'd go about doing it. He's making a concerted effort, and it works for him. So I'm not going to beat him up about that. There's no reason for that. It's just not something that I would do. I'm a firm believer in. I don't clean my brushes, to be quite honest, either. It's I don't have a big issue with them getting filthy and dirty and everything else. I've got an older brush that may need some TLC. It's not the best knot in the world, and it's not the softest because of it. But I don't clean my brushes. I just use them. I don't pamper them. I don't baby them, and I also don't put them in fabric softener. Well, we've survived the weekend, and I must admit, it was a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Seemed a little bit longer than normal, which was really, really nice. I woke up on Saturday thinking it was Sunday, and went through most of Saturday kind of in my head thinking it was Sunday. And then when Sunday came around, it was like, oh, wow, this is nice. So anyhow, survived the weekend. So here we are on Monday morning, beautiful Monday morning, about, 60 degrees out here, and kind of a very light overcast sky, but still kind of got a blue tint to it, a little bit of sun up there. And good stuff. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Everything's nice and green and shiny. I like it. Anyhow, the shave of the day. Speaking of shiny, anyhow. Okay, so the shave of the day. I went back to the Old Spice Musk cream that I bought. Comes in a little plastic tube from Maggards for about $4.95, $5 somewhere in there, and lathered that up in the old salsa bowl again. And yeah, it's just absolutely thick and luxurious lather, and I'm trying to put just an almond-sized sliver in there. I'm going to have to cut that back to about a half an almond because I'm ending up with just too much lather. I mean, you want to talk about thick. At half an almond, you're probably talking a month's worth of shaves easy out of that tube for $5. It's actually more than that, but I don't know. It's I'm just guessing here. I haven't used my other tubes. I just never tried the Musk before, so I wanted to try it. Anyhow, the just great luxurious lathers and not a problem there. Samag brush did fine. Lathered up. I wanted to try a razor that I hadn't run for a while, and that was none other than my Fat Boy. So I went ahead and threw in a Kai blade on that Fat Boy and proceeded to shave. Paying particular attention to those of you who have scolded me otherwise, you know who you are, about rotating the razor as I use it. So, oh goodness, yeah. Okay, so I'm rotating my razor around, flipping it around to be a little bit more even-handed when it comes to usage of the blade. So all is good there. Who knows? Maybe it'll make it a habit. I don't know. We'll see. But the good news is that everything was going just marvelously until I nicked my nose. Until I took a chunk out of the left side of my nostril. I was going underneath my nose, trying to get, the upper lip area, and I hooked my nose, and holy cow, it was like, as soon as it happened, it was like, yeah, this is gonna suck. And sure enough, geez. Yeah, I had to stop, clean that up, get everything, back together, a little direct pressure, a little piece of toilet paper, just because needed something to coagulate on more so. And I really did not feel like applying a styptic pencil to that. Holy cow. Jeez, there are some places that I am just not gonna do that. And that's one of them. Anyhow, all's good with the world. It all worked out well, and life is good. And we continued on with the shave, and the shave went fine. Didn't have any problems or anything like that. And finished up even with some fine aftershave and some American blend, just because, and worked well. Did a good job, smelled great, feel great, good shave. Yeah, all in all, good stuff. So I am quite happy, and we are out here investigating to see what the day holds. And we'll see. Hopefully it'll be okay. You never know. So I believe we've gotten to a scary point in our society where the people that care about things have gotten to the point where they care about the process more than they care about the end goal. And so that, for people like me who are much more driven by the end goal, I mean, if you're there to do a job, does it really matter how the job gets done? As long as in the end the job happens, and that allows you some flexibility and some adaptability to different circumstances, different people, different issues, different problems that arise, and it gives you that flexibility. No, these folks are concerned about the process, and you have to follow this particular process. There shall be no deviation from this particular process. And even if you run into issues and problems, there will still be no deviation from this particular process. So you've got that on one hand, and then you've got the other hand where the people just, they don't care what the heck the process is. They just want to make 8, hit the gate, and go home. And quite honestly, from a customer point of view, if you're a customer, you're just an annoyance. And, yeah, it is amazing to me. I have had, in the last 3 weeks, I have had to deal with companies and people that, should be enthused or at least concerned about customers, about getting their customers what they want. And in fact, what I'm ending up having to do is dang near beg these people to take my business and take my money. It is incredible. I have never seen anything like it. I was commenting the other day that, is it something that everybody knows that I don't? Does everybody know that it's hopeless and we might as well just quit and give up, and we're just going through the motions right now and waiting for the end to occur? It is absolutely incredible. I have never seen customer service of any type in large companies like this be at such a low. And I don't understand quite where it's coming from. But the thing that's interesting is that what that tells me is that there's probably people like me all over the place that if somebody was to actually go out and treat customers decently and actually, hustle a little bit, yeah, there's a lot of money in this economy. It's just nobody's getting it because nobody's going after it. And it may be the situation that it's been like that for so long that they're just numb at this point. And, what's the point? Nobody's going to spend any money anyhow, so why bother? Maybe. But I don't know. It is curious. Now, please keep in mind, I'm talking about the upstate of South Carolina, the Southeast in general. I don't know what it's like in other areas because I'm not there. But here, anyhow, I've run into numerous cases where either you have people that are basically lockstep into a process to the point where even when it's going wrong, they won't stop and they won't adapt and they won't change. They'll just keep blindly following the process, almost like they get to the end and didn't have the outcome that they wanted. And, well, now I can blame the process and I don't have to blame my own, understanding of the situation or lack thereof. It's not about me. It's about the process. Or, on the other hand, you have the people that just plain don't care. When you get to a point where you're walking into a small store and essentially, for the lack of a better word, begging somebody to take your business and take your money, that's not right. I mean, I'm sorry. That's just, there's something wrong with that situation. Yeah. It does make you wonder. Again, it makes me very glad for the vendors and people that we have, because not like that at all. My order from Maggards is shipped and it's on its way, and I cannot wait. And yeah, good stuff. Very clear, very concise as far as communications and all. So at least our vendors treat customers very, very well. And that's a good thing. Okay, so let's talk about the shave of the day today. Today is Tuesday, and the shave of the day for today was a continuation of yesterday's shave of the day, basically. Fat boy with the Kai blade, and luckily did not slice my nose again this morning. That thing, it even bled a little bit this morning. It was like, holy cow. Yeah, when you slice yourself open, do a good job at it. I mean, don't go halfway. Anyhow, so the shaving cream that I am using, again, is Old Spice Musk. Now, okay, so what have I found? It was not my imagination. The stuff is, in fact, a little bit thicker than the other Old Spice that I have, and there's a reason for that. The tube of Old Spice that I got from Maggards is, in fact, the Procter & Gamble formula of Old Spice. It is not the Shulton formula, and the ingredient list is different. Now, it still performs well. It just doesn't have the same scent. Now, to give you an idea of the performance of this stuff, I used this morning, just as a test, essentially, I call it a third to, it was either a quarter or a third of an almond-sized dab of cream in the bottom of the old salsa bowl, and lathered that up into enough lather to do a 2-pass shave with touch-up. Now, you're probably thinking, well, you didn't have enough for a 3-pass shave. Okay, I was in a hurry and only wanted to do 2 passes. And so having enough lather for 2 passes and a touch-up, that meant that I washed another pass and a half or so worth of lather down the sink because I had to get going. So even with that little bit of soap in the bottom of the salsa bowl, it still lathered nicely, and so I'm real happy with that. The thing that is, well, less than ideal, I guess, is the best way to put it, is the fact that the smell is exceedingly mild. Now, when I bought these, I bought the Old Spice Musk, and Old Spice Lime. And so what I have found in looking is that the original Shulton formula, or Shulton formulation, if you will, has a solid red tube. Whereas this one, the Procter & Gamble formulation, has a red tube with kind of grayish anchors all over it, and so it is not solid red. It is patterned, and so there is in fact a difference. So we'll see how it goes. But right now, it's not bad. It's a little mild on the scent, but other than that, it's a perfectly reasonable cream. I don't have any, is it my, without that, just absolutely luxurious scent, is it my all-time favorite? No. But at the same time, it's perfectly suitable. I would have no problems throwing this in a travel kit or something like that, and, using it that way. But anyhow, it is interesting that there is a difference, and so far I have, the stuff, like I said, that I bought from Maggards, I had assumed that it was Shulton formula, and it turns out not to be. It turns out to be the Procter & Gamble formulation. Again, fine, not a problem, and I'm sort of kind of happy with it. Okay, so again, looking at the aftershaves, at the shaving creams, it appears that what I have is in fact the Procter & Gamble version of Old Spice shaving cream. Again, it's not a bad cream, but I am going to do a comparison because I do have some of the Shulton formula Old Spice cream. I'll do a head-to-head, and I may do that next week. I'm going to have to, it's a little busy this week. I've got a graduation ceremony for a young man that I need to go to Wednesday evening. So instead of doing the podcast on Wednesday evening, I'll be finishing up the podcast on Tuesday evening and setting it up so that it releases on time. So all will be good with the world as far as everybody is concerned with the release of the podcast, and I'll be out enjoying a graduation ceremony. So all is good. But anyhow, upon looking, it appears that there is a Procter & Gamble formulation, and then there is the old Shulton formulation made in India. And so I will play around with both of them and see what I can do, and see what the differences are, and give you my ideas and everything. Maybe take a few pictures of the differences of the tubes and designs and the smell and latherability and, performance and all that. We'll plan on doing that next week. Anyhow, the overall, like I said, the overall feel so far with the Procter & Gamble formulation cream is not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. I mean, I probably wouldn't throw it away. I'm not having any adverse reactions to it or anything like that. It's a reasonable shaving cream. I would have no qualms at all if I didn't like it to piff it away and say, here, try this. It's not too shabby. And all in all, good stuff. Alrighty, well, not being one to just sit around when something's on my mind, I went and dug around in my drawers, and lo and behold, I have some Old Spice shaving cream in Musk. I have the Procter & Gamble formula, and I also have the Shulton formula. I also have some original in both formulas, but because I've been using the Musk, sorry about that, I'm going to be concentrating on it. Okay, so let's talk just right off the bat about the Procter & Gamble formulation. Now, this stuff is made in India, okay? So it is the Old Spice lather shaving cream made in India, and it is manufactured by Procter & Gamble Home Products Limited. Okay, so this is the stuff that I've been using this week. Now, if I look at it, the consistency, it feels fairly thick. It's almost like a glue, a thin paste, if you will, in consistency. And so, I just wanted to give that a feel, and I'm going to do a comparison with the other stuff that I have here. Okay, it's got a mild scent, and it's more soapy than it is musky. But we'll put a little bit in the bowl there. I've got two smooth salsa bowls, and we're going to try this out. I've got a fine brush, and I've got my Plisson, two synthetics. Now, the reason that I have two synthetics, I was going to use two boar brushes, but in the process of soaking, my 1305 knot fell out for like the fourth time. I'm tired of re-gluing that. I am going to get a new one. It's rather disgusting, really. Okay, so let's see. Here we go. I'm using a fine synthetic, and it seems to smooth it around okay. It doesn't seem to be sticky or thick or anything like that. Seems to be lathering okay. But one of the reasons that I wanted to do this is because as you aerate this stuff, it gives it a different, smell profile. And I wanted to find out what that was. Okay, so I've got this stuff lathered up. It's a very loose lather. It's very foamy, but that's okay because I didn't have a whole lot in there. You're talking maybe a quarter of an almond sliver, if you will. So it's not much, and I'm more looking to aerate it for the smell profile, the odors of the Old Spice to see what that has. So here we go. Okay, again, more of a soapy scent with just maybe a mild touch of musk and a very mild scent of Old Spice, but it's so far in the background. It's mainly just soap. I mean, it really is. And I'm not trying to be unfair to it. It doesn't have much of a smell at all, and the majority of it is, in fact, just soapy. Now, the thing is that as I've used this week, the performance has been really, really nice. I haven't been disappointed with it. It's, has it been fantastic? No, I'm not going to put it in the fantastic category, but at the same time, it's not like, oh my gosh, it's causing me to cut myself or anything like that. Nothing at all. Okay, so this is the stuff that I bought at Maggards, and like I said, this is the Procter & Gamble formulation. And let's see. It does say use within 36 months. It is 70 grams. Now, the thing is that the tube, instead of being a solid red, it's got kind of the newer Old Spice, ship on it and everything else, kind of like what you see for the new products. But it's got a light red and a dark red diamond pattern on it. And Musk is in kind of an orange down at the bottom of the tube. So I've got a couple pictures that I'll put on the blog for this. So that's the Procter & Gamble stuff. Now, let's go over to the other stuff that I have. Now, this other stuff that I have, I bought at West Coast Shaving. And this stuff, it is Old Spice Lather Shaving Cream. So both of them are Old Spice Lather Shaving Creams. However, this one is, well, it's also made in India. However, it is manufactured by Wonder Products. And Wonder Products is a company that makes stuff and repackages it and stuff. So it is not Procter & Gamble. All right, so if I open this one up, immediately I am struck by more scent. It has a much higher scent profile. Okay, a little bit in there. It's not as thick. It is not as, it's not as sticky. It's not as thick. It's much, it is a thinner cream. Okay, and that's kind of what I thought. That was my impressions, but I didn't want to trust what I had seen before, because it had been a while. Okay, so just put a little amount in there. And for this one, we are using a Plisson brush. All right. So let's go to town on this. And this brush was a little wetter. Doesn't want to lather quite as nicely just because. But because it's thinner, it does not want to, it doesn't have any problems at all getting moved around inside the bowl. Okay, so I've got a real bubbly lather here. But again, Plisson holds a lot of water, at least mine does. And I didn't really shake it out because I'm just sitting here at the desk doing this. I can smell this from here. Holy cow. Okay, the other one I had to bring up to my nose. This one, it's like I can smell it from here. Okay, so we've got a very airy lather here, but if I go any further, it's going to jump out of the bowl because this stuff is just kind of busted out and just, it's doing its job here. There's no question about that. So, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is a lot muskier, a lot more Old Spice, and, excuse me. I'm getting into the soap smell, and I'm not noticing what I'm doing, and I'm hitting the microphone and hitting the stand, and just, that's the way it goes sometimes. Yeah, this is, if anything, it's got kind of a role reversal, whereas the other one had soap up front and everything else was mild and in the background. This has musk and Old Spice scent with soap way, way in the background. Okay, so from a scent profile standpoint, I really prefer the Shulton formula. Smells like it's supposed to. You know, this is the classic that I remember as a younger man. So, yeah, from that standpoint, this is it. Okay, and the texture for the soap that's after it's lathered, yeah, I mean it's about the same. I mean it's now these are very thin lathers, but it's there's not a whole lot of difference. Doesn't feel a whole lot different. So those are my just thoughts real quick. And I'm going to do the same just real quick again with the original just to throw my feelings and thoughts out there. And I'll be right back. Let me rinse out these bowls and brushes. All right, so we are back. Let's take a look real quick at the original formulations for the Old Spice. So we'll start off with the Procter & Gamble. And yes, it's still made in India, but it's made by Procter & Gamble, manufactured and marketed by Procter & Gamble. Let's see, I wonder. That's manufactured by... Okay, well, there we go. There is a difference in the Procter & Gamble stuff is both manufactured and marketed by Procter & Gamble. We'll start with it. Again, this one has a red tube, but it has dark red anchors all over it. And, okay, it says original, 70 gram, good enough. Little, still soapy. Again, feeling it. Yeah, it's kind of thick. We'll try this again. We'll put, just try to be consistent in the amounts here. Okay. So kind of the same textures, really. This time I'll do it with the Police On brush and the Procter & Gamble soap. Okay. Now, first thing is that the Procter & Gamble soap, being a little bit thicker, doesn't want to move around and get distributed around the bowl real easily. It wants to stick because it is a little bit thicker. Okay. It's also doing a little bit better. I mean, it's doing a pretty nice job lathering up here. It's not, could use a little bit of water. I shook my brushes out just a little bit more. So that makes a big difference, of course. Getting the right consistency and amount of water. Okay, so we have a little bit of a lather there. And let's give it a smell. Again, not so much Old Spice, but more soap. Okay, this is not much Old Spice at all. Now, granted, this stuff is $5 a tube, but for that $5, you would expect, with it saying Old Spice on there and being manufactured by Procter & Gamble, you would expect, well, just some Old Spice. Not really. I mean, this isn't even the new floral Old Spice. This is just like, it's not there. Okay, enough of that. Let's go to the old stuff, the stuff that I got from West Coast Shaving. And this is stuff this cost $9 a tube. And this is, again, manufactured by Wonder Products. But it is marketed and distributed by MCPL of India. So it's got nothing to do with Procter & Gamble at all. The other thing that's interesting is on the tube of this one, not the Musk one, but just the original, it says Shulton, New York, London, and Paris. So that's rather curious. Anyhow, we open it up, and initial smell right off the bat, yeah, there's Old Spice all over the place. And again, it's a little thinner. It's not as sticky. So again, just initial impressions, and we'll try to put about the same amount in there. Okay, that should do it. And rub the rest of it off my hand because it does smell good. Okay, shake out the brush here. Using the fine synthetic 20 millimeter. It distributes around the smooth salsa bowl very easily and very nicely just because it is not as sticky, not as thick. Generating a real nice lather at this point. Just kind of jumps out real quick. I could use just a touch more water because it is a little bit of a thick lather. Again, because I got most of the water out of this brush here. Okay, so I've got a decent lather here. I mean, with just a little bit more water, I could shave. I mean, this is easily enough, and I just used, like I said, about a quarter of an almond sliver here, so it doesn't take much. Okay, and same as with the musk, I can smell it already, and it's not even near my nose. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's Old Spice and no soap. The other one, all soap, no Old Spice. I mean, it's got a soapy smell, and it's got, I don't know, just a remnant of some odor to it, but it is not Old Spice. So I don't know what they're thinking. But this stuff, the stuff that's manufactured by Wonder Products that says Shulton on it, yeah, it's, good fragrance. Like that stuff. Okay, so, again, all right, let's just check them. They both have about the same consistency in lather. So if I just kind of do the finger test, they both have really nice glide, and they seem like they do okay. They'd probably be just fine. And again, like I said, I have not been terribly disappointed or anything by the Procter & Gamble soap. It just doesn't smell the same. But the performance-wise, it's, I'm not going to cry about it. Okay, so, yeah, not too bad. From a smell standpoint, I much prefer the Old Spice, the Shulton formula, the stuff that's made by Wonder Products, manufactured in India, instead of the stuff made in India by Procter & Gamble. It's just a choice. And I know that the stuff that I've got, and I'll order some more just to make sure, but the stuff that is manufactured by Wonder Products in India, I have purchased at Wesco Shaving. The Procter & Gamble stuff, I have purchased at Maggards. And the stuff at West Coast was $9 a tube, and the stuff at Maggards was $5 a tube. So, maybe one of those things which you get what you pay for, but that's okay. But at the same time, I'm okay spending the little extra money on the good stuff, if you will, the stuff that smells like I want it to smell. Again, not that the other stuff is bad, it's just, it lathers well. I mean, quite honestly, if I was going to have somebody start off, and I've said this before, if I was going to have somebody start off in wet shaving, I would get them a bunch of creams, just because they lather so nicely. Creams in a synthetic brush. That way you don't have to worry and kind of fart around with lathers. It just kind of jumps out of the brush and jumps out of the bowl, and it just kind of happens. And you can concentrate on doing, well, what you're really trying to do, which is get a good shave. Anyhow, that's my, those are my impressions, and there you go. Well, that concludes this episode of the Brush and Soap and Blade Podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed making it. If you have some suggestions or would like a topic covered, drop me an email at BrushnSoapnBlade@gmail.com or give me a call at 864-372-6234 or contact us on Twitter at BrushnBlade. You can also visit us at our blog, BrushnSoapnBlade.wordpress.com. As always, we're available on iTunes and Stitcher.